Hi everyone! Hi everyone! Ito na naman inyong gurong vlogger ng Kuwait at nakalive tayo ngayon sa YouTube channel ni Ilong Vlogger ng Kuwait. And we will be waiting for our students. I'm going to review them sa media and information literacy. Okay, I'm going to review them in media and information literacy. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. 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 Okay. So, ayan guys. And if you're in, guys, just say present para alam ko if you're there already. If you're there, if you're there, if you're there, there. Just say present, guys, if you're there. Where na ba? Amstel, yeah. Amstel is in the house. Haj is in the house, Dan is in the house. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe sa Ilong Vlogger ng Kuwait. This is Teacher Generin's channel. Okay? Tutulungan natin siya sa kanyang watch hours. Kasi watch hours na lang. Pero ako is present. Present! Sabi ni Isabella. Okay, you're present. Okay. Go push present. Patrick. Hi, Patrick. Aya. Hello, Aya. Aya. Aya si Aya. Okay, next. So I think most of us are here now. Should we need to? So I'm going to. Okay. So present daw. Present si Aya. Aya. Okay, next. First question. Ready. Just type ready if you're here. If we are here, you are here now. So just say ready. Type ready, guys. So 16, bahala na yung tatlo. Oh, yeah. Apat. The 4. Ready. Amsel said ready. 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 Get set. Go. Colin said ready. Ready. First question. It is the ability to use, navigate, manage, store, and retrieve content in print, radio, and online. It is the ability to use, navigate, manage, store, and retrieve content in print, radio, and online. What do we call that? Accessing? Are you sure it's accessing? Yes, it's accessing. Very good. It's accessing. Very good. Kylie said, media access. Sabi ni Isabella. Patrick said, access? Access? Yes, it's accessing. Okay, it's accessing is the ability to use, navigate, manage, and store and retrieve content in print, radio, and online. Next question. It is the viewer's ability to read, deconstruct, and evaluate media context and motivations. It is the viewer's ability to read, deconstruct, and evaluate media context and sabi niya understanding. Understanding is correct. Okay, Amsel is correct. Said it's understanding. Okay, saan yung monitor ko? I'm monitoring. Nalalobat ng isang cellphone ko. Wait ha guys, kasi nalalobat na siya. Ay, mas kita niyo yung kilikili ko. Yung kilikili beauty ko. Okay, go. Very good, Amstel. Next, number 3. It is the viewers or netizens' ability to produce, it's obvious, to produce, distribute, and publish ideas and information via mainstream media or social media. What do we call the viewers or netizens' ability to produce content creation? No. Creating? No. Creating is correct. Yeah, creating is correct. Creating is correct. Yeah. Creating is the viewers or netizens' ability to produce, distribute, and publish ideas, information via mainstream or media and social media. Creating. Very good. Next, it is a false or misleading information presented as news. I think mali ni Kylie ito. It is the false or misleading information presented as news. Ito pa yung mali mo, Kylie. Ay, iba pa yata. Iba to. Fake, ano no, cake news. It's fake news. It's fake news. Yeah, it's fake news. Kami nababalik ako. Sana yung salabat ko. Okay, next. Number 5. It is false information which is intended to mislead, especially propaganda used by the government organization to a rival power on or the media. It is the false information which is intended to mislead, especially propaganda. We're pertaining to propaganda ha. Fake nga yan, di ba? Disinformation, okay? Disinformation, very good. So pag in general kasi siya is disinformation, okay? It's false information which is intended to mislead. That's disinformation. About this, it is a false or inaccurate information, especially that is which deliberately intended to deceive. What do we call that? Kung propaganda siya, that's disinformation. Pero kung ang purpose niya, it's an inaccurate information, that is misinformation. Did you get the difference between the two? They are both false information, but the other one is inaccurate, and that is misinformation. Okay, but if we say now intended to mislead, that is disinformation. Okay. Next, um, what do we call the false content? Completely false content. What do we call that completely false content. What do we call the completely false content? Anong tawag natin siya? It is, what do we call to the completely false content? Fabricated content. Very good. It's fabricated content. It is distortion of genuine information or imagery. For example, a headline that is made for sensationalist, often popularized by clickbait. Yung parang yung ginawa ni ano ni Night na Project Nightfall, 'di ba? How do you call that one? How do you call that one? It is the distortion of genuine information or imagery. For example, a headline that is made for sensationalist, often popularized by clickbait. It is, what do we call that? It is the distortion of genuine information or imagery. For example, a headline that is made for sensationalist, often popularized by clickbait. Anong tawag doon? What do we call that? What do we call that? Start with letter M. Ma, me, mi, mo, mu. What? Manipulated content. Okay, manipulated content. Very good. Manipulated content. They are trying to manipulate it so that others, from the word clickbait, then they can easily just click. Halimbawa, sabi doon, patay na si Jordan. Okay, Michael Jordan, for example. Then, or kaya patay na yung presidente ng, charot. Wag naman. Charot lang yun. Baka magkatotoo. Ako pa masisi. Okay? Then suddenly we click it, then hindi pala yun yung information na gusto natin. They will just lead us to another link. So that is what we call manipulated content. Okay? It is impersonation of genuine source, for example, by using the branding of an established news agency. So it's an impersonation. This is the this is the uh, key. It's just the it's the term that we're going to associate. Okay? It is the impersonation of genuine source. For example, by using the branding of an established news agency. Imposter content, very good. Imposter content. Collins, Amstel, very good. It's correct. Imposter content. How about this one? Um, Misleading use of information, for example, by presenting comment as fact. What do we call the misleading use of information? For example, by presenting comment as fact. Mm-hmm. Are you sure? Misleading content. Very good. It's misleading content. Very good. It's misleading content. Misleading use of information is misleading content. Nandun na pala yung sagot, no? It's within the, It is actually accurate content that is shared with false context information. For example, when a headline of an article does not reflect the content, it is actually it's a factually accurate. It is factually accurate content. It is actually accurate content that is shared. False content. Very good. It's false content of connection. False content of connection. Tama si Isabella. Isabella is correct. Next, how about this one? It's madali to. It presents humorous but false stories as they are true. It presents humor but false stories as they are true. Although not usually categorized as fake news, this may be unintentional full readers, just like of the other artists or other vloggers are doing satire and parody. Okay, they do parody. Though hindi naman siya fake news, but still the content is totally different to the real content of it. Satire or parody. Satire or parody. How about this one? It refers to the communication channels through which we disseminate news, movies, music, education, promotional messages, and other data. It refers to the communication channels, media. Very good. I'm still media. Okay, how about this one? It means nandito na siya eh. Nandito na yung sagot. So, it means of mass media communication in the form of printed publication such as newspaper and magazines. Sorry pala, ito pala yun. It refers to a diverse array of media technologies that reach a large audience via mass communication. What do we call the means of mass communication? Matt, what do you mean? What do you mean by or it refers? Should I say? Gulo ko. It refers to the diverse array of media technologies that reach a large audience via mass communication. Via mass communication. That's mass media. Very good. It's mass media. Eto, it's obvious ang sagot. It means of mass communication in the form of printed publication. So printed publications such as newspaper and magazine. What do we call that? Is it local media? No. It mass communication, one of the medium of communication in the form of printed publication. So nandun na yung sagot, printed what? What kind of printed? Printed media, okay? Printed media. Ito, kung may printed media, what do we call this also? It's the inclusion of different mediums that are used for communicating, transmitting, and broadcasting to the public masses. So, nandito na, transmitting, broadcasting to public masses. So, anong tawag nito? Is it social media? Broadcast media. Okay, very good. It's broadcast media. It is the direct, purposeful exchange of information and message between people, group of people by speaking, writing, just so we have this the what we call now four dimensions of what? Four dimensions of what? So it's what's the answer? Communication. Very good. Communication. So it means therefore if we are pertaining to uh the direct purposeful exchange of information and messages between people or group of people by speaking, writing, gestures, and sign. What we call that as communication. Very good. Sabella, very good. Kylie, very good. Okay, how about this one? It refers to any form of communication passed and transmitted using channel. So what is the one that we try to communicate to them or want to transmit to other person? It refers to any form of communication passed and transmitted using channel. Message. Okay, ito yung ginawa natin, di ba? Message relay. We relay the message. Very good. Amstel, Kylie, Isabella, Muna, Dan. Next. Uh, how about this one? It refers to the communication between two persons, whether verbal or non-verbal. What do we call to the communication between two persons, whether verbal or non-verbal? Two persons, because if we're talking to ourselves, that is intrapersonal, right? So how about now if there are two persons, whether verbal or non-verbal? So anong tawag dun? Is it still intrapersonal? Or okay, very good. Kylie claim interpersonal communication. How about this one? It involves discourse between three or more persons. So we have the within the umbrella of interpersonal communication. This is within the dyadic. No, it's not dyadic. Three or more persons. It involves discourse. Halimbawa, I group you. What do you call to yourself? Group 1, group 2, group 3. Is it mediated? No, it's not mediated. Ang mediated dan is kung if we're using already media communication. Halimbawa, naka-online kayo, that is mediated. Okay, very good, Isabella. Small group communication. Okay, small group, sabi ni Amsel, small group. So, ang mediated interpersonal, Dan is when you use now electronic communication or virtual communication. Okay, gets? Haj, correct, Haj. Correct, Ong. Okay, let's proceed now to other terminologies. So the answers can be literal noise, figurative noise, interference, transmitting, receiver. So these are the means of communications. Okay, the ways that communication process, feedback, channel, source, encoding, decoding. Kaninong report to? Whose report is this? I think it's report nila Dan. Okay. Kasi may bumabarat. Yes. So, it is where the message came from. So, saan galing yung message? It is where the message came from. It is the message, it is where the message came from. Source. Very good. Sa source galing yung message. So, how about this one? It is the process by which a message is translated translated to it. Saan to? Sorry, it is the process by which a message is translated so it can be transmitted. That is encoding. Very good, Amstel. Tama si Kylie in the answer is source. So encoding, tama si Amstel, tama si Isabella, tama si Kylie, encoding. So encoding is the process by which the message is translated so it can be transmitted. Next. It is the actual act of sending the message. It is the actual act of sending the message. Tomorrow ba ang media ninyo, guys? Is it tomorrow will be your media? Guys, is it tomorrow your media or literature? Media yata tomorrow, di ba? 21st. Sige. Mag-review tayo ng 21st. Kaya pa ba? Okay lang ba kayo mag-review hanggang 11? Baka kasi maabutan tayo ng Sige, I'll review you in 21st century. Okay lang ba matulog kayo ng mga 11 o'clock? O mag-review na tayo ng muna. What do you like? Should we need to review first in literature para bukas na itong media? May taga ibang klase ba dito? I'll check. Una, Valens, Patrick, Aya. Sige, let's muna. Should we need to continue this review in your media or should we need to have first para early ang tulog ninyo? Should we need to review first your 21st century? 21st century na lang muna tayo para maaga din ako matulog. Then bukas na lang tayo mag-review uli, 'no? Sige, sige, 21st century muna. Sige, sure. No problem. No problem. Mabilis akong kausap. Sige, sige, sige. Okay, so in the 21st century, there is a reading comprehension here. So I cannot help you for your reading comprehension. What I can help only here is that you need to read first the question. Gets nyo? You need read first the questions before answering it. Okay, so that there, because there will be ang dami niyong maximize na time if you will read, then after that read the question, then babalikan niyo na naman siya. At least pag once you read first the questions and you already encountered the questions along reading, then you just highlight it. Nagets nyo? So that's one of the techniques. Okay? So I included the lesson 1, though we did not discuss this lesson 1. So what is metafiction, by the way? Anyone can give me the definition of metafiction? What is metafiction? Because the lesson 1 is a metafiction. That's revolution according to Raimundo Mata. So they use the strategy of metafiction. So what is metafiction? Google, help, Google, help, Google, help. What is metafiction? Is metafiction's author makes aware that what you're reading is fictional. So meaning therefore that fiction about fiction. Okay, so metafiction is a fiction about fiction because according to Kylie, author makes you aware that what you're reading is fictional. Okay, this is fiction about history, no. Fiction about heroes, no. Fiction about poet, no. Fiction about fiction. Did you get it? Metafiction is fiction about fiction. Okay, what is the nickname of Rizal? Jose Rizal. What is the nickname of Jose Rizal? What is the nickname of Jose Rizal? Pepe. Very good. It's Pepe. What is metaphor? What is metaphor? Hi, ba't nandito si Marjon? Hi Marjon, mega mega love. Shout out Marjon. Ang inyong Mars. Marites. Pepe, okay? What is metaphor? Met is metaphor. Comparing things directly without the use of words such as like or as. Okay, so meaning therefore, comparison between two different things. I will repeat, comparison between two different things. Kasi sabi ni Isabella, comparing things. So what's that things? Things, it's same thing, similar thing, or different thing. Okay? After metaphor, meta 5, ano kung meta 3? After meta 4, meta 5. Okay? Next, when was martial law proclaimed? When was martial law proclaimed? Sir, after meta 3, meta 4. After meta 3, meta 4, then after meta 4, meta 5. Okay, sige, get. September 21, 1972. Okay, September 21, 1972. Don't forget that. Martial law was proclaimed on September 21, 1972. Very good, Patrick. September 21, 1972. Next, the Marcos babies were born during what time? So what particular years that the Marcos babies were born? Is it from 1960 to 1980? Is it from 1964 to 1986? Ayan, Kylie claim 1964 to 1986. Ang galing-galing. Nagbasa na siya. Promise, nagbasa na siya. How many politicians, students, and journalists were detained during martial law? How many politicians, students, and journalists were detained during martial law? How many politicians, students, and journalists were detained during martial law? 30,000. Kaya ito yung mga naghahanap ng actually ng ano, these 30,000 are the one asking for human rights violations before. So imagine mo sa million-million na tao ng Pilipinas, 30,000 lang ang na-detain. So ibig sabihin, ilang percent? Wala pa sa 1% ang ano, so sila lang yung against sa gobyerno. Okay. So in the poem Apo on the Wall, who is the Apo? Whom we are pertaining to the Apo on the wall. In the poem Apo on the Wall, who is the Apo? Sinong Marcos? Ang daming Marcos. Is it the grandchild? Is it the father? What? Sinong Marcos yan? Ferdinand E. Marcos. Ferdinand Edralin Marcos Sr. Okay. Very good. In a poetry, okay, in a poetry, what do you call the person telling the story? In a poetry, what do you call the person telling the story? In a poetry, kuha lang ako ng ano ng salabat ko. In a poetry, what do you call the person in the story? No, it's not. Not the speaker. What do we call the person in telling the story? Is it the speaker? No. Narrator? No, it's not narrate. Narrator is when we talk about what do you call this? It's narratives. No, it's not narrator. No, it's not author. Basta yung nagbabasa, reciter. No. So take note when we say narrator, narrator, it's we're talking about short stories. The storyteller also is for short stories. The main car is it's we call it as start with letter P. Google help. What do we call the person telling the story in a poem? Persona. Very good. It's not poet, it's persona. Muna is correct. Persona. Protagonist is the person that it's the main character in the story. Persona. We call it as persona. Okay? Persona is the one telling the story in a poetry. In the poem Apo on the Wall, how was Jesus described? Is it threatening? Is it friendly? Is it murderous? Or is it compassionate? In the poem Apo on the Wall, how was Jesus being described? Is it threatening? Is it friendly? Is it murderous? Or is it compassionate? Scary. Threatening. Pares lang yan. Threatening, scary. What does wax nostalgic mean? What does wax uneasiness? Okay. Pares lang din siya, threatening. What does wax nostalgic means? Wax nostalgic. Okay, I think this is ano. What is wax nostalgic? What does wax nostalgic means? Feeling inspiring nostalgia. Okay? Or it could be you believe that it was a good time. Kasi sabi niya, 'di ba, nostalgia, 'di ba? You believe that it was a good time. Feeling or inspiring nostalgia. So it means therefore if you say inspiring, it's you believe that it was a good time. Okay. How about this one? In the story Lengua para Diablo or The Devil Ate My Words, lengua was used as what? Is it simile, metaphor, personification, or symbol? In the story Lengua para Diablo, that or The Devil Ate My Words, lengua was used as what? Is it simile, metaphor, personification, or symbol? Are you sure? Is it symbol? Is it they use a symbol? Are you they use it as symbol? Sabi niya metaphor. Are you use they are just compared it? They compared it? No, I think there's no comparison of lengua. Either that or metaphor. No, it's not. Both are wrong. So mamili na kayo. Mamili na kayo between simile or personification. Eh, syempre, I will not tell this the answer na ano, Dan, kasi ano, sabi ni Kylie, personification. Paano siya naging personification, Kylie? Okay, next. What is considered as a crime for males in the Philippines? What is considered a crime for males in the Philippines? A. Adultery. B. Use of contraceptives. C. Premarital. D. Concubinage. Diba we talk about relationship, remember, when Isabella's husband, diba? So, what is considered as a crime for male in the Philippines? Concubinage. Sabi ni Kylie, concubinage. How about for women? If women had other partner aside from the husband, how do we claim that? Is it adultery, use of contraceptives, premarital intercourse, or concubinage? Adultery. Yung last ata na ba adultery? So it's adultery, kabet. Kaya nga kabet. Wait, nasaan ako? mamaya. I got lost na with the questions. Naloka ako dun sa ano. Okay, next. In fiction, a while back I asked you, right? In poem. Now, in fiction, what do we call the person who is telling the story? So in fiction, what type of it's multiple choice, multiple choice. Kylie, it's multiple choice. So ang bilis lang nito, multiple choice lang siya. So in fiction, what do we call the poem? What do we call the person who is telling the story? So what are the type of tests? Reading comprehension, multiple choice, identification. Wait, yeah, and modified true or false. Narrator. They claim it's narrator. Yeah, it's narrator. So take note the difference between narrator and persona. If you say persona, it's the person who is telling in a poem. Then in a fiction, narrator is the one who is telling the story. Identification with choices, yes, of course. Did I even give identification without choices? Unless you like it. Gusto nyo ba? Walang choices? No, sir, we want choices with capital letters. Sumisigaw si Rami. Rami said, no, sir, we want choices. Because you're giving me options kasi. Dapat it must be, okay, next na. Anyway, I won't even give the, ano. In the poem Justice, what was the title of the painting? Oh, Kylie, we need options. So, yeah, don't worry. We have the right to freedom. Okay na, sige na. Ang dami yung sinasabi. In the poem Justice, what was the title of the painting? Is this the Philippine Justice or just, are you sure? With question mark though. In the poem Justice, what was the title of the painting? Are you sure that's the title of the painting? What was in the painting actually? What was in the painting? Who is in the painting, should I say? Who ba? Is he really a person? Hindi naman siya tao, di ba? Yeah, it's Justicia. Actually, it's in ano, it's Kylie kasi, sabi niya, the title of the poem is, in English nila, di ba? Yeah, di ba in English nila? Then after that, but actually that's Justicia. Okay? The title of the painting actually is Justicia. Okay. So what happened to the image of justice in the painting? So what happened to the image of justice in the painting? She weighs her scale, she uh, brandishes a sword, she takes off her blindfold, or she disappears. What? What happened to the image of justice in the painting? It was fading, vanishing, disappearing, fading in the air. Okay, fading. So she disappears. She disappears, appear. So what amount did Chief Justice Renato Corona not declare? So how many pesos did Chief Justice CJ Corona did not declare? 183 million. Kasi topic ito ni Kylie eh. 183 million. Who should declare their assets and liabilities? Is it everyone? Is it the taxpayers? Is it the politicians, lawyers, and judges? Okay, I'm still very good. Isabella, very good. Who should declare their assets and liabilities? Is it everyone? Is it taxpayers? Is it politicians, lawyers, and judges, or government employees? All politicians, lawyers, and judges. Are you sure? Or government employees? Which one? Politician, lawyers, and judges. Are they not government employees? If you're a politician, you're not government employees. Okay, sabi na, wait sir, government employees. Okay, next. Kylie, what does the word derision means? Is it merciless teasing? It means when someone hates you. It means when something came from, where something came from, or mockery or ridicule. Hmm? Mockery or ridicule. Okay. Okay, what does the poem? Okay, what does the poem? Can you repeat the question? The question was, what does the word derision means in the poem Justicia? The poem Justice, should I say? So sabi ni ano, so the synonymous term for derision is mockery or ridicule. Okay, next. Why does the poem describe the Philippines as my uncertain country? Okay, very good, yes. So why does the poem Justice describe the Philippines as my uncertain country? Why does the poem describes the Philippines as my uncertain country? Because no one is above the law? Is it because we are doomed by criminals? Is it because we came from different ancestors? Or it's because the Philippine justice is full of hits and misses? Why does the poem describe the Philippines as my uncertain country? Is it because no one is above the law? Is it because we are doomed by criminals? Hi, Omar. Is it because we came from different ancestors? Hits and misses, because the Philippine justice system is full of hits and misses. Okay, bahala na kayo. Next, punta tayo sa modified true or false. True or false? Lengua is a specialty made of the tongue of the calf. It can be boiled, pickled, roasted, or braised in sauce. Delicious. Lengua, di ba meron tayong ano, lengua, di ba, lengua na food? So lengua is a specialty made of the tongue of the calf. It can be boiled, pickled, roasted, or braised in sauce. True or false? Yo, sir, yes. Yes, Rami, what's the problem? True. Sabi ni, ano, ni Dan, it's true. True. Sabella said true. Okay? The story of Lengua para Diablo, okay muna said true. The story of Lengua para Diablo concerns a mother and how she no longer feels like she has the voice over the family and society. The story of Lengua para Diablo concerns a mother and how she no longer feels like she has the voice over the family, her family and society. Sabi niya false. Why it made it false? So, bahala na kayo. How about this one? Concubinage is voluntarily extramarital intercourse by a married person with someone other than his or her spouse. Concubinage is a voluntary extramarital intercourse by married person with someone other than his or her spouse. True or false? Cause, true or false? Concubinage is a voluntary extramarital intercourse by a married person with someone other than his or her spouse. Next. While adultery is a cohabitation of person not legally married. Adultery is a cohabitation of person. You know what a cohabitation? Cohabitation is the state of living together and having sexual relationship without being married. Okay? Is that, sabi ni Kylie, it's false. Okay. How about this one? Prelude is something that comes before and lead to something else. Prelude is something that comes before and leads to something else. True or false? So just check the word prelude now. Stated here, prelude means an action or event serving as an introduction to something more important. So sabi dito, prelude is something that comes before and leads to something else. So it's true. How about this? On the other hand, or moreover, a short piece of story that introduces a long piece. Parang mali yata, it's a false. Diba? In November 2011, Chief Justice Renato Corona was impeached by the Philippine Congress. True or false? In November 2011, true or false? O, Kylie, true or false? Ano yata report nyo to? In November 2011, sigurado ka November 2011? Okay, so it's December. So he was impeached because he committed a crime of perjury. He was impeached, Renato Corona was impeached because he committed the crime of perjury. You know what a perjury is? Perjury is the offense of willfully telling an untruth in a court after having taken an oath of affirmation. So yung nag-oath ka ng ganun pa tas hindi mo sinabi yung totoo. Is that the crime that he committed? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys. Is it true or false? He was impeached because he committed the crime of perjury. True or false? False. Okay. So SAL-N stands for Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth. SAL-N stands for Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth. True or false? Sabi ni Rami, false? How about this one? SAL-N stands for Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth. True. SAL-N is a public document required for all Filipino workers. True or false? SAL-N is a public document required for all Filipino workers. True or false? False. So it's only for the public employees. Okay? When because there are private employees, right? There are private employees. So next, when people write about Noli Me Tangere in the history books, they always mention how Crisostomo Ibarra was inspired to revolution and it was the ideological fire forged the Katipunan. I think there's something wrong here. When people write about Noli Me Tangere in the history books, they always mention how Crisostomo Ibarra was inspired to revolution and that was the ideological fire forged in the it's false. It's actually sino yung nagano ng ano katipunan who is the one who led Andres Bonifacio. Very good. Okay, according to the poet and the writer J. Neil Garcia, before Rizal wrote the Noli Me Tangere, there was no real concept of the Philippine nation. That the novel was a myth-making project. It means of imagining the special communal fantasy that was the nation. According to the poet and writer J. Neil Garcia, is it true or false? Before Rizal wrote the Noli Me Tangere, there was no real concept. I think this is in in lesson 2. Okay? I think I even mentioned this. That the novel was is it true? Are you sure is it true? Neil Garcia. J. Neil Gracia, should I say. J. Neil Gracia. Tama, true pala siya kasi J. Neil Garcia yung nandun. Okay. Next. True or false? When Rizal wrote the Noli Me Tangere, the concept and dream of the Philippine nation was born. So when Jose Rizal wrote the Noli Me Tangere, the concept and dream of the Philippine nation was born. True or false? Yeah. False, it's Gracia. Okay, it's Gracia. It's true. When Rizal wrote the Noli Me Tangere, the concept and the dream of the Philippine nation was born. True. The way of Rizal is less appreciated, varies from one place in the Philippines to the next, but still less important to recognize what he had done for the country during his time. True or false? The way of Rizal is less appreciated, varies from one place in the Philippines to the next, but it's still less important to recognize what he had done for the country during his time. I think it's just a matter of descriptive adjective. False. Martial law began on September. Mali itong grammar nito. Okay. Martial law began on September 21, 1970 under the proclamation number 1081. True or false? Martial law began on September 21, 1970 under the proclamation number 1081. False. Okay? During the martial law, there was much resistance to it as people believed that it would curb the insurgency of various rebel groups at that time. I think it's just a descriptive adjective here. During the martial law, there was such resistance to it. Resistance to it. As people believed that it would curb the insurgency of various rebel groups at that time. Check the adjectives. And next, according to the PhilippineHistory.org, 300,000 politicians, students, and journalists were detained by the military compound under the president command. True or false? I think we mentioned this in the in the multiple choice. Had said false. Okay, few human rights violations were made during the martial law. True or false? Few. Few human rights. False. Actually, there are a lot of human rights violations. Yung ano, pagkulong, pagpamalo, ganun. Those are violations already of human rights. Kaso nga lang, yeah, kaso nga lang, of course, hindi ka naman mapapalo, hindi ka naman makukulong kung wala kang ginawang kasalanan, 'di ba? Anyway, so many human rights violations were made during the martial law. So the story of Safe House is written from the perspective of a young girl. True or false? The story of Safe House is written from the perspective of a young girl. True or false? True. So, on the other hand, the story pictures out the sacrifices she and her family made to fight against the People Power Revolution. So, in the story of Safe House, the story pictures out the sacrifices she and her family made to fight against the People Power Revolution. It's true. So, the story of the Safe House was written by Sandara Nicole Roldan. True or false? True. So furthermore, it allows us to see how martial law was like, was look like pala to, was like. So it allows to see how martial law was like for the people who fought against it. Still true. Okay. The poem entitled Apo on the Wall was written by B.J. Patino. True or false? The poem entitled Apo on the Wall was written by B.J. Patino. True or false? Nagugutom na ako. Hindi pa pala ako kumakain. True or false, guys? The poem entitled Up on the Wall was written by B.J. Patino. B.J. Patino. True or false? Sabi ni Patrick, it's true. Okay. Moreover, it was written using the teenage point of view and its complicated relationship with his father. It was written using a teenage point of view. True or false? Is it a teenage point of view or a child's point of view? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? False. Okay. So let's have now the identification. He is the founder of Manila Observatory. He was also Jose Rizal's favorite mentor. Oh, sir, ang galing. Tagalog si Rami. Sir, in the safe house, was it mentioned po ba that the family fought against the people power? Hindi. They did not fight for the people power, they fought for ano. Ang sabi dito, sacrifices. Pero it's mali pa rin siya kasi people power revolution yun. Padre Faura, very good. Padre Faura. Padre Federico Prat Faura. Okay, very good. Kompleto ah. Next. It is a school for poor boys in the Philippines during Jose Rizal's time. It is a poor school for boys in the Philippines during Jose Rizal's time. Ay, by the way, guys, by the way, yung ano yung bayad nyo sa jacket tomorrow for the, what do you call this? For the PE jacket. Kasi tinatanong na ako ni Mr. Anwar about it. Ateneo Municipal de Manila. Ba't may de Manila? Ateneo Municipal lang, Kylie. Ateneo Municipal, walang de Manila. Ngayon na yun, Ateneo de Manila. Okay? Ateneo Municipal. Next, it is a structure commanding a wide view, usually a place where the sky is most visible, the one mentioned in owned by Padre Faura. It is a structure commanding a wide view. Di ba nasa taas siya ngayon, nasa taas siya. So it's a structure commanding a wide view, usually a place where the sky is most visible. The one mentioned is owned by Padre Faura. Observatory, very good. Observatory. Next, it is where people that have died are to be purified so they are clean. I think this is a belief of the Roman Catholics. It is where people that have died are to be purified so that they are clean enough to enter heaven. Heaven! Purgatory. Very good. It's purgatory. It is a gun made for long-range target. It is a gun made for a long-range target. Yeah, I'm still correct. Muna correct. So next, it's a gun made for a long-range target. What? Anong maron? Mauser. Okay, Mauser. It's Mauser. It's a Mauser. It's a Mauser. Okay? It is usually a violent attempt to take control of a government, a rebellion, or uprising. It is usually a violent attempt to take control of a government, rebellion of. Ito yung nangyari during the martial law, kaya nila nag-declare ng martial law because of this. A violent attempt to take control of the government, rebellion or uprising. Caliber daw sabi niya. No, it's not. It's a Mauser. Sa Mauser yung mahabang ganun, the one that they used to kill Jose Rizal. Okay, what do we call now the violent attempt to take control of a government, a rebellion or uprising? Wala na? Naglag ba ako? Did I lag? Sagot guys. Answer. We're almost done. Ano na lang? Uprising daw. Violent attempt to take control of the government. We call that as insurgency. Ayan, insurrection. Insurgency. Abdul Halim, it's insurgency. We called it as insurgency. Okay? It's an Ilocano word that means master or sir. It means an Ilocano term for master or sir. Insurgency. It's an insurgency. Apo. Very good. It's an apo. It involves a temporary it involves the temporary substitution of military authority for civilian rule. Ano yung ginawa ni martial law? Okay, Apo. Sabi ni Hats, when Apo. Okay. He's a Filipino politician and a lawyer and our 10th president of the Philippines, who ruled from 1965 to 1986. Ano yung material law? Sabi ni Aya, material law. What's material law, Aya? Marcos. Ayan, o. Ayan, nandyan si Gab, o. Marcos. It's Ferdinand Marcos. What do we call a ruler who uses political power to steal his or her country's resources? Ito yung ano nila kay this is the accusation made to Marcos. A ruler who uses political power to steal or her country's resources. No, it's not dictator. It's not dictator. Not dictatorship. No. It if you use political power or to steal, your no, it's not a thief. No, it's not. Not authoritarian. No, it's a kleptocrat. We called it as a kleptocrat. Kleptocrat. Yeah, kleptocracy. Yeah, it's kleptocrat. Halim is correct. Kleptocrat. Kleptocracy. Okay. How about this one? I think you know already what's metafiction, right? How about this one? What is Chekhov's gun? What is Chekhov's gun? What is Chekhov's gun? Anyone? What is Chekhov's gun? What is Chekhov's gun? Thank you, Google, though. Thank you, Google. Anyone? It's a dramatic principle, okay? I'll accept that. It's a dramatic principle that states that every element in the story must be necessary and irrelevant elements should be removed. Okay. What do we call the person who practices healing by the use of herb? What do we call the person that practicing? So we call it as herbalista. Okay, the one that's practicing herbal medicine is we called it as actually in Tagalog we called it as herbalista. Okay, but in English we call it as herbalista. It's silent H, herbalista. Okay, what else? Wala na, yun lang. Okay, of course you know already what a short story is, right? You know what's a short story? And don't forget again the I think I gave this. Don't forget the mean. What's the symbol of blindfold? What's the symbol of golden pair of scales? Okay, what's the symbol of double-edged swords? And what's the symbol of the painting that's fading and music of derision? Okay, I think that's all, guys. I'm sleepy na rin. Any other questions? So tomorrow, don't forget your to those not part of the Sentinel, just pay 12 KD for your jacket, okay, for your PE jacket. And for those Sentinel members who wanted to have their jackets, then you need to pay another 12 KD, okay? So see you tomorrow, guys. God bless. I hope you learned something, okay? And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe also. EIC din, sir. Sige, sige, sige. Pag-usapan natin yan, pag-usapan natin. Kasi ano, sige, apatiin kayo no kasi kay tawag dito, kay yung magdadala si of course it's unfair kung hindi ko rin ilibre siya. Sige ako na lang maglilibre. Sige ako na lang maglilibre, ako na lang maglilibre. Magtatampo yung iba sa atin. That's the perk of being an EIC kasi eh. That's the perk of being an EIC. Okay? So libre lahat. So of course I will make libre also of Patrick's jacket. Ako na magbabayad sa ano ni Patrick. Okay, so hanggang doon na lang muna, guys. Thank you so much and God bless everyone. Okay? Don't forget to bring your 12 KD tomorrow. Golden pair of yung yung mga different symbols of Kylie's outfit. I think it's in the book. Okay? The golden pair of scales, double-edged swords, okay? Blindfold, yung mga ganon. Anong nangyari? Nawala po daw ako. So, yung nyo, yung bayad ninyo sa jacket ninyo, sa for your PE, okay? Kasi kailangan na naming maano ni Mr. Anwar para maano na namin, mai request na namin sa Philippines. It's in your book, Rami, it's in your book. Actually, it's in your book. Any other questions, guys? It's in your book. Any other questions? Tag dito? Amstel, Amstel, who are the people whom you told na they wanted to be next month, next, in September na lang yung bayad para I can tell it to Mr. Anwar kung gustong i-shoulder ng eskwelahan muna yung expenses. Oo. Or maybe you can, sir, can you repeat the questions about the People Power Revolution? Pakinggan mo na lang, you need to repeat it again, Kylie, you need to repeat this vlog na lang. Okay? Just while you are on bed na lang siguro, then i-ano mo na lang siya. I-review mo na lang siya, okay? So, sige, see you tomorrow. God bless. Bye, everyone.